3 days to election day in Ghana. Hashtag Stop Galamsey now still on. Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM, Hits 103.9 FM, all in Accra, Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. We're live in all 16 regions. We're on KTU Radio in Koforidua, Radio Max in Takrady, ATL FM in Cape Coast. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. Coming up, Office of the Special Prosecutor opens a comprehensive investigation into allegations of misconduct involving contestants in the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency elections. The office is also probing claims of monetary inducement by certain security agencies during the recently concluded special voting exercise there.
Incident one in Greater Accra. These are incidents that we are verified. We've had, as I said, a couple of incidents where people are standing around the polling areas and giving out monies to some individuals.
We have exclusive details, plus tell you why NDC parliamentary candidate John Dumelo has become a person of interest for the OSP. But an anti-corruption campaigner says the OSP cannot do much.
I'm just afraid that the OSP may not be able to do what they have said in word. They are not like to support their words with action.
And then we focus on the eastern and western regions as they take their turn for the special voting following the recent ballot leakage that led to the rescheduling.
The Commission was informed by the National Security that one single defaced ballot paper meant for the Eastern region had been taken out of the printing house.
And also this afternoon, Chief Justice authorizes judge who presided over criminal trial of failed Joabing MCE nominee to deliver judgment in the case being prosecuted by the OSP despite having been transferred. We have details that the Judicial Service explains the transfer of judges is routine and has no intention of truncating cases before the courts. We have sports.
New Force presidential candidate Nana Kwame Bediako unveils grand plan for Ghana football if elected president.
And then we focus on campaign activities as the NPP and NDC gears up for their final major rallies in Legon and Medina. That and more here on the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for staying with us. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. And this afternoon, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has launched a comprehensive investigation into allegations of misconduct involving contestants in the Ayawaso West Wogon parliamentary elections. Joy News sources says the front-runner, the incumbent NPP MP Lydia Al-Hassan, and the NDC's John Dumelo are being investigated for various infractions they allegedly committed during the voting. The alleged sharing of food by Madame Lydia Al-Hassan has been widely condemned, but the MPs insisting on her innocence. My colleague Elton Brobe, also the host of the Pulse on the Joy News channel, joins me in studio with what we are learning from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Elton, first, let's focus on the NPP MP, Lydia Al-Hassan. What are we learning?
So what we are learning is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has engaged Madam Lydia Al-Hassan, who is also the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wogon, as part of ongoing investigations. We understand that she was asked few questions, though it remains unclear whether this interaction constitutes an official invitation or an arrest. Now, reports suggest that the OSP is closely monitoring her activities. Typically, what the OSP is saying is that it gathers substantial evidence before proceeding with formal arrests and charges. What we are picking is that there will be further details in the coming hours.
So why is her main contender, John Dumelo, also a person of interest for the OSP?
So again, we are learning that John Dumelo, the NDC parliamentary candidate for Ayawaso West Wogon, was allegedly, according to the OSP observation, it was observed by officers of the Special Office of the Special Prosecutor interacting with voters in the queue during the special voting exercise. According to the OSP, such actions could contravene electoral laws, prompting further investigations into the matter. The OSP is reviewing the incident to determine whether any legal breaches occurred.
Okay, so we know that they've begun investigations, including interrogating journalists who are at the scene, for instance. But will the OSP take any action with just 3 days to the election?
What we are learning that the OSP is reportedly taking a measured approach and will not take immediate action regarding allegations of electoral misconduct until after the general elections on Saturday. Now, sources indicate that the OSP may revisit these issues and take appropriate steps post-election. A similar case, example that they've cited, is the one involving the Member of Parliament for Kwaraso, Dr. Kinsey Nyakon, who was captured on video allegedly giving money in the envelopes to electoral officers during the Judicial parliamentary by-election. Now, what the sources is telling us is that they've concluded their investigation, they've first charged against him, and will be hauled before court after the elections.
Okay, but we know they are also taking some action against some security personnel. They are looking into some cases involving security personnel as well.
Exactly. They have evidence that some security personnel took money before voting during the special voting exercise, and that they've cited some places here in Accra and some places in the western region, some places in the eastern region, the western north region, where they have evidence to support this, and that is actually collaborated by the Kodeyo report that was released last night.
Okay, well, stay with me. Speaking of that Kodeyo report, help me. Let's go through it. We know they've released some details. They gave us some preliminary findings here on the Midday News, but we have an exclusive report from them on this particular special voting. Let's go through it. So
the Kodeyo report points to photographing of thumb-printed ballots, and they make reference to an incident at the Cape Coast North constituency, Ablekuma South in Greater Accra, at Walawali in the Northeast region, Bolgatanga Central, and also at Navrongo, where they have evidence of people taking pictures of their votes and then submitting it to wherever they submitted it to. They also observe vote buying. Observer reported 2 cases of alleged vote buying at Kita in the Volta region. Some party representatives at the polling stations shared money to people who voted for their candidates. At the Wejagbari constituency in the Greater Accra region, some individuals believed to be MPP representatives were at polling stations gate giving out 100 and 500 cedis to voters to cast their vote for the MPP candidate. And in German North, in the Northeast, in the Bono East region, a non-uniform police officer who doubles as a key member of the incumbent MP security detail attempted to prevent the MPP party chairman and several representatives from sharing money. This reportedly resulted in verbal attacks on the officer. Okay, so these are some of the details from the Kodeyo findings, and of course I'm sure Elton will bring us more on the polls subsequently, but we've been hearing from a research officer with Kodeyo, Rhoda Osei-Afo, condemning the act.
We've also picked up a few incidents about photographing of ballots, which really is quite unfortunate because it then undermines the secrecy of the ballot. And there are several reasons why some of these things are legally not allowed, because we are looking at having a very free, fair, and credible process. You don't want voters being compromised. You don't want them being induced materially of development. And I was going to look at some of the other related issues like vote buying, people being given money in a couple of constituencies where we had some reports to this effect. A couple of incidents, one in Greater Accra. These are incidents that we are verified. We've had, as I said, a couple of incidents where people are standing around the polling areas and giving out money to some individuals, which really is quite unacceptable.
This is very serious. I mean, because of the caliber of people involved in the special voting.
Precisely. I said, we are not only limited, we don't only speak to some of the things that our observers pick up from the field, but we also monitor the media space to see what issues are coming through. And indeed, as we saw in the videos, if this is really the case, that is also very, very unfortunate. This is an issue that we cannot condone in a fledgling democracy because it undermines the credibility of the ballot.
That's a research officer with Kodeyo, Rhoda Osei-Afo. Now, anti-corruption campaigner Vitus Azim says the OSP cannot really do much about the inducement.
I think that the OSP's hands might be tied in a way. As for giving political advantage, you know that it was wrong and you started to do it. So if a parliamentary candidate takes a gun today and goes to shoot somebody, should he not be arrested because it will be to the advantage of his or her opponent? That I don't go with it. But I'm just afraid that the OSP may not be able to do what they have said in word. They cannot support, they are not like to support their action, their words with action. That's my only problem. What they probably can do is to wait until after the elections and then they proceed with investigations and possible prosecution of the people. But that will not have an effect on the results of the election. So as for now, it's too late for them to be able to do much about this vote buy from my perspective.
That's anti-corruption campaigner Vitus Azim there. Well, on this particular matter involving the Ayawaso West Wogon MP Lydia Al-Hassan, founding member of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, has called for the arrest and prosecution of the MP for sharing food to security officials who were waiting in line to cast their votes on Wednesday.
It was so shameful. And what hurt me most was that these people in line to go and vote were security personnel. And I didn't see one of them rejecting it. And what also disturbed me was that the PC, that's the parliamentary candidate for that particular constituency, when questioned, she denied it. Such a person is not qualified. In fact, if it had been in a civilized country, she should have left that contest by now. The party would demand that she leaves. She denied flatly that she has not been there. Why she has been captured on video. We don't need such people in parliament. We don't need such people as lawmakers. They will destroy this country. Indeed, I will pray that she loses the election if she is still going to contest, because she is a person you cannot rely on. And this also should alarm us and alarm the security service. I have always been saying the IGP seems to talk a lot, but a lot happens that he is quiet. Such a person should have been arrested there and then. Indeed, the statement made by Wuntumi calls for an immediate arrest. Immediate. I think we have been hearing a lot of lectures from the IGP. He must act. That is what the people of this country want. He must act as an IGP.
Well, that's the Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo there speaking at a press conference. He's scheduled to be at that press conference with Professor Frimpong Boateng and also Brigadier General Mensa Nunu. And my colleague Kenneth JC is there for us and joins us on the line. Let's talk about the other leading figures also who were supposed to be at this particular press conference, the purpose and what they've been saying.
Figures Professor Frimpong Boateng, as you mentioned, and General Nunu Mensa. They are sharing in the sentiment of Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, saying that of course, they've been around for a long time. There's no secret that trying to influence people with money and food is not new, but it appears that politicians have now been emboldened that they do it in the full glare of the public. And they are crying for the security agencies because they say that the security enforcers are the ones that are supposed to stop these things, and they are worried that if they are the ones that are receiving these foods from the politicians, then what will they do on election day if they see the politicians dishing out food or money to voters in line?
Well, that's my colleague Kenneth JC there bringing us updates from that press conference, and subsequently we'll bring you more on this. But in some 19 hours, the eastern and western regions will partake in the special voting exercise. Earlier this week, the Electoral Commission Chair Jean Mensah had to recall and destroy compromised ballots from the checkpoint printing house meant for the two regions, leading to that rescheduling. We can listen to her address the media on Sunday.
On Friday night, the Commission was informed by the National Security that one single defaced ballot paper meant for the eastern region had been taken out of the printing house. The printing was undertaken by the Checkpoint Limited, and as you know, supervised and observed by the National Investigation Bureau and staff of the EC. The Commission took the decision that in order to ensure and guarantee the integrity of the election in the eastern region, the ballot papers for the eastern region should be recalled and new ballot papers printed for the region. Additionally, it has been agreed by the Commission and all the parties that because the printing house, Checkpoint, also printed ballot papers for the western region, those ballot papers should also be recalled and printed. In the light of the above, the special voting for the eastern region and the western regions would not take place Monday, the 2nd of December as planned. The special voting for the two regions would now take place on Thursday, the 5th of December.
And of course, we're gearing up for Thursday, the 5th of December, for that special voting exercise in the Eastern and Western regions. Let's touch base with our regional correspondent ahead of this particular exercise. Kofi Siao, those who are supposed to be participating, I guess they are all in the mood and ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, everybody is expected to vote in this exercise tomorrow. They have told me, majority of them I spoke with confirmed that they are ready to vote in this exercise. Some of them said they've been given duties to man some polling stations on December 7th, so they were supposed to report at those stations by today. But because of the elections, they've spoken to their superiors and they've allowed them to stay and vote tomorrow and move to their station afterwards. But with regards to the preparation of the EC, yes, the electoral materials were in today this morning, and all the political parties, especially the NDC and the MPP, were all around the regional police headquarters to check the details of the new ballot papers that the EC brought in. So they've taken pictures and other details of the ballot, and everyone expressed satisfaction so far with the process.
Well, that's my colleague Kofi Siao there in the Eastern region, all prepared for the special voting for tomorrow. We're getting the same sentiments from the Western region. Voters ready, electoral materials have all arrived, and of course, all is set for that special voting tomorrow in the Eastern and Western region. Now, the NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama has expressed disappointment over the inability of the NPP to complete key and crucial projects like the Afari Military Hospital Phase 2 and also the KATM Market and many others in the Ashanti region after almost 8 years in office. Speaking during a courtesy call on the Asante Hene, John Dramani Mahama promised him a future NDC government will complete the unfinished projects and start new ones. Maxo Agbagba was there for us. Here's his report.
John Mahama, during his visit to the Minsha Palace, criticized the governing New Patriotic Party for taking the Ashanti region for granted. He assured residents that if the NDC is elected into power, it will complete unfinished projects and initiate new ones. He said, the last time I came here, I mentioned our projects in the Ashanti region. These were critical projects that enhanced the region's development. Some were completed, while others were not. The sad part is that some of those we could not finish have been abandoned for 8 years and are now rotting away. For instance, look at the Afari Military Hospital. If you consider the stage of that facility before we left power, you wouldn't expect it to remain unfinished after 8 years.
Sa hospital ne dura na enya dia nipa bedwin se efi wotwe ye besa amani aka se
The Santino 248 to encourage John Mahama to tell the people about his achievements and what he plans to do if he is re-elected. He said, we are all pleading for free and fair elections. All parties have agreed to have their agents present. Elections happen at the polling station where the ballot papers are cast. The summation of the ballot papers determines whether you will become president or MP. When we all agree to this process, there will be no disagreements. We pray for him, and may God grant all his heart's desires.
That's the Asante Hene Otumfose to the second ending Maxo Agbagba's report. Now, wife of the Vice President Samira Baumia has called on voters to reject violence but resist intimidation on Saturday, December 7 as Ghanaians go to the polls. Speaking at the Ashanti Women for Peace conference in Kumasi, Mrs. Baumia urged voters to exercise their franchise peacefully and avoid any instance of violence in the voting process. She's been speaking exclusively in this interview with my colleague Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom Abebio.
The Ashanti Women for Peace conference was held to encourage women to lead in the advocacy against electoral violence. The conference was to also encourage women participation in the election. Speaking to Joy News on the sideline of the event, wife of the Vice President Samira Baumia emphasized the need to ensure a peaceful election.
It's obvious, peace. To have development, you need peace. And we've seen the tensions around. We've heard some of the rhetoric, which is very unfortunate. But we need to continue as leaders to encourage our people to be peaceful. Elections are not about conflicts. They're about making a choice and a choice should be a peaceful choice. And inshallah, victory will be for the New Patriotic Party, but we need to vote in peace.
Is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia winning the elections?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
That's Nana Boachi Dankwa interacting with the wife of the Vice President, Samira Bawumia. Let me take you back to the special voting exercise as we get ready for the Eastern and Western regions to participate in the exercise. Thankfully, we've been joined on the phone by Deputy Commissioner of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. Let's talk about readiness and preparedness for tomorrow's exercise in the Eastern and Western region tomorrow.
Well, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your listeners. The Electoral Commission is very much ready for the special voting tomorrow. As we speak now, all the materials that are required for the elections have been dispatched to the two regions. That's the Western region and the Eastern region. So we do expect that all those who are special voters in these two regions, regardless of where they are located now, will be able to make it to their special voting centers. In the Eastern region, we have 33 centers. And in the Western region, we have 17 centers. So we expect all registered voters go there in their numbers to go and vote. Because if you are a special voter and you don't go there tomorrow to go and vote, you will not be able to vote on December 7th. So we expect that they will all take advantage of this window and vote.
Well, from reprinting of this new ballot papers, at least for the two regions, up until delivery, would you say that all the parties are aligned in terms of no objections at all to this new process?
Yeah, we know when the issue came up, we had a meeting with the parties, and the parties were in full support because all of us are committed to the integrity of the process. And in that meeting, the main conclusion was about integrity, ensuring that the elections will be very fair, free, transparent, embedded in a lot of integrity. And that's what we did by taking that decision to reprint the ballots for the Eastern and for the Western regions. So as we speak now, none of the parties has raised any red flag. And all of us are in unison working together to ensure that Ghana achieves another successful general election.
But what's the status of the investigations into that leaked ballot paper?
So, we have been incredibly consumed by the printing of the ballots and getting ready for the special voting. And so we've allowed those who are in charge to continue with their investigations. And as you may be aware, once everything is consummated, they will bring it to the attention of the Commission.
How about the Electoral Commission's initial assessment of the exercise on Monday in the 14 regions?
No, it went very well generally, although we are yet to put out the figures in terms of turnout. But we shouldn't forget that those who voted on Monday, including those who are voting tomorrow, they're only a fraction, an insignificant fraction of those who are voting come December 7th. So it's not a number we must place so much premium. But initially, we noticed that a number of the places were having a turnout of almost 90% and beyond. So in a way, it bodes well for us as an institution. And we are expecting that come Saturday, the people will go out there in their numbers. We are expecting over 18,600,000 people to cast their ballots for the president and also for 276 parliamentarians. So we expect that people will go out there in their numbers. We did in 2020, we had a turnout of almost 79%. We are looking at doing more than that. So we are anticipating that people will go out there to vote.
Has it been brought to the attention that some contestants or aspirants are actually feeding persons who are supposed to be in the queue to vote, and even some of the EC officials as well? How are we hoping to prevent this from happening tomorrow and also on election day?
Well, it's in our sphere. It's against the law to be, influencing in terms of giving people food, etc. So this is something the Commission will issue a statement on. But we must also get the full evidence in terms of what actually transpired. And there are agencies that are responsible for that.
We are grateful. We'll leave you here for now. And that's Deputy Commissioner at the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, ahead of preparations for the Eastern and Western regions in terms of their special voting. And of course, their assessment also of the exercise on Monday. We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News. When we return, of course, the Chief Justice has authorized the judge who presided over criminal trial of Philjoa Bin MC nominee to deliver judgment in the case being prosecuted by the OSP despite having been transferred. Please do stay.
budgets are tight, and money difficult to come by. You want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Ghana, the elephant is calling. Get ready for the biggest and the final rally for election 2024, put together by the New Patriotic Party. The New Patriotic Party at the Nijani Ahusepesronko Eltonsa Afrani Party Menina and in the general public say the party shall climax all its nationwide campaign activities with a final rally ahead of the 2024 general elections. Now say rally way ya today say the possibilities victory rally Matthew 19:26. But with God all things are possible. Ebaso Yawada, December 5, 2024. Time 1 p.m. sharp. Venue University of Ghana Sports Directorate Park. And University of Ghana Sports Stadium no ena edi inshanim. Na special guest Amuba Jumedi His Excellency Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana. His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, and the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, John Ajakum Kufuor, the former President of the Republic of Ghana. Honorable Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe, Honorable Stephen Ayesu Intim, Lawyer Justin Kodia Frimpon, Honorable Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Makin, Honorable Akosia Frema Osai Opare, and all party members, sympathizers, and the general public are invited to participate in this historic program, which will be carried live on all media houses. And media houses in contact the Campaign Communication Directorate for any inquiry. It is indeed time for bold solutions for Ghana's next chapter. NPP Eshi Rado 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 Rado.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time for sports. Mubarak.
Yes, Emefa. So, presidential candidate Nana Kwame Bediakun has revealed plans to combine football with education to transform the sports if elected. The new first leader proposes setting up football academies linked to schools to change the fortunes of the industry.
Tear them down into pieces. What you figure this be?
Industry is to start to infuse sports right into our educational system by partnering with people who are specialized on that, because we Ghanaians, we become footballers by vision, not by skills or training, and they need to be trained and coached. So that process of you educating yourself and learning about economics and other things, what to eat, how to behave yourself, how to protect your leg and all of that, we don't have it.
So, Emefa, you can
And
hear.
he says it's a waste of time to be watching football today.
Well, he's explaining why or what he wants to do to ensure that we don't waste our time watching football.
Okay. Well, and just before we head out, the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokon has authorized the judge who presided over the criminal trial of the failed Joabing MC nominee to deliver judgment in the case despite having been transferred. Justice Priscilla Dikro Ofori had set November 28 as the day to render her verdict on the matter of election-related corruption filed by the OSP, but she was transferred. Legal Affairs correspondent Kwekwa Sante joins us in studio with this particular explanation that has been given. Tell us all about it.
Yes, according to this statement from the Judicial Service, the judge has now been authorized by the Chief Justice to actually go ahead and present the judgment. And so at the next agenda date, we expect the judge to give a judgment. And it says the judge has presented a list of all outstanding judgments and ruling and has been authorized to deliver all state outstanding judgments and rulings. Emefa.
Okay, well, we'll have more subsequently on this. Also, myjoyonline.com. Jackie.
Yes, Yes, Emefa.
What are people talking about?
Well, a lot of stuff are trending on social media. The Asantehene is trending after his convoy was allegedly attacked yesterday. And of course, the E-Gate is trending. You know the E-Gate issue. when the video is a 50-second... It opened, though, but you know social media, they just saw the 50 seconds and they are saying that Dr. Bawumia was stuck in front of the gate and it didn't open. So people have actually been jumping to his defense. And let me say, Adjoa says that it could be possible the Ghana card was fake and not verified well. Eric Button said, E-Gate gets E-problem. And Kofi Ofe says, the video is only 50 seconds. Well, maybe the gate finally opened. But apart from that, the conversation about Black Sharif having one of the best verses when he does collaboration with artists. You know, he has a lot of songs with Sarko Dier, I mean, all the big artists, and he always gives the best verse.
Okay.
Pick you up in the foreign, bring it on what is on your mind, yeah, baby.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah,
okay.
He has good verses on most of the
let's
songs.
end today's edition of the Midday News. We want to play the other one, tear them into pieces. I'm sure that's what you wanted to play earlier. But we'll head out here of the Midday News live on Joy 99.7 FM. There's also more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Hits, we have entertainment news coming up. Living Word with Pastor Mensah Otabil up next. Have a